stir it up and do things our way. So if you wanna move, get out of our way.
Hey.
Happy Monday.
Yay.
May it be a sunny Orange County day for everyone out there.
Yeah. Everyone except John Janssen and Alexis.
And Alexis Bellino. Olive Branch my ass.
Every time I see her now, because I started out with such high hopes, I think of that Tyra Banks thing. We were all rooting for you. Exactly. We were rooting for you.
We were. Oh, we were, Jesus Jugs. We were rooting for redemption. We're rooting for a resurrection of Alexis Bellino.
Jesus Jugs on the cross, but it didn't. No.
Get down off that cross, girl. Somebody needs the wood.
Oh, but I guess you guys can't tell we're here for Real Housewives of Orange County.
Episode 13.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, this is something I caught the very beginning, because the very beginning of this episode opens up with the end of last week's dinner party at Katie's. And there was something funny I saw with Ryan, who, by the way, we'll get into shortly, but I still like him, even if he did some bad stuff. When Emily is asking him a little bit more about this investigation and this case, watch him again, and he has the same lying mannerisms as Jax Taylor. He had the exact...
Oh, yeah.
He did. I was like, oh, this is total Jax. The very focused, bulging eyes. He's looking around, repeating. Yeah. Like, it's very Jax.
That's how you know, like, he's lying. In fact, actually, last night I was on my way to a friend's birthday dinner, and I was carpooling with a couple other friends, and they're a married couple, and we were talking. The wife and I were joking about how men always lie, and she says to her husband, like, I always know when you lie because you don't get mad at me. You get mad at me when I accuse you of lying and you're telling the truth. She's like, but when you actually are lying, that's when your eyebrows go up and you're like, and you give me some excuse for something. But when you actually aren't lying, it's when she was honest. She was like, he hasn't lied to me in quite a while, so it hasn't been a big thing. But she was like, and I was thinking about that. I would go, oh yeah. And so then when I was rewatching it this morning, because I watched Orange County twice. I watched it once just for me. Just to be like, because otherwise it'll start to make me really hate Bravo that I'm having to watch it for the podcast and take notes. And then I watched it again right before we record and I take notes. So I'm like, okay. And then also I kind of know what I'm going to take notes about and everything, what I think is important. And then I'm also catching stuff I didn't catch. But that's immediately one of the things I was like, Ryan just raising his eyebrows and going, well, she must be talking about Matt. Or like, I don't know what she's talking about. And I was like, you're so lying. You're such a fucking liar, Camille. However, as I think we're going to talk about, like, I don't think he's lying 100%. Like, oh, I did something bad and I can't, and now I'm trying to lie. I think that he's lying because he can't talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, legally.
Yeah, so I looked into it because Tamra here thinks she's about to launch the Tom Girardi, the Erica of Orange County. Every franchise now is hoping for that scandal. Beverly Hills, Salt Lake City, Jen Shaw. The way it turns the show around. But it's really so with Ryan's little scam or whatever you want to call it. Just to let you know. Sources say he has immunity, he is cooperating, and he won't be going to jail. He was essentially the middleman. So Ohtani, the biggest baseball player in the world, if not one of them.
Apparently he's got a $700 million contract. I fell out of my chair when I read that. I really did fall out of my chair. It was like...
Now I understand why it was easy for his interpreter to steal 15 mil.
Yeah, that's a drop in the bucket.
So in this episode where he's talking about his partner Matt and why they're always in Vegas, Matt was the bookie. Ryan was the middleman. So the Otani's interpreter would steal money from Otani, wire it to Ryan's business account, and then Ryan would wire it to that partner in Vegas.
Matt.
Okay. So he was essentially a middleman. I mean, it's true he had to know what he was doing, but in a case like this, if you can get someone on the lower level less guilty to turn and cooperate, they'll give you immunity to get the bigger fish, which would be Matt.
And we don't know, or really the interpreter, because we don't know, because I don't know exactly what the case is all about. You read up on it more than I have. Is that like the interpreter has embezzled money from Otani? Like that to me seems like more the main thing, because gambling is legal in sports, like being a bookie in Vegas is legal. It's not legal in California. So there's that aspect of it. So there's that illegality there. But the main thing seems to me is more like you stole $15 million.
Yeah.
And so whether or not Ryan knew that the money that was coming into his account had been stolen or not, that seems to me that he may not have known that him and Matt may not have known that those were stolen funds.
Right. They probably don't question where it's coming from. It was just, and that's why
questions leads to answers.
Send me 15 mil. I will not ask a question. I won't. but so basically, I know the other thing besides Erica, I know Tamra is trying to paint Jen and Ryan as Joe Giudice and Teresa. One of those. And I think Ryan will be. I don't think it's happening. He has immunity.
Yeah.
But still a liar, though. I did enjoy that when he's lying to Emily. It's like, oh my God, it's straight jacks.
Yeah. He's full on lying. And Jen is lying too, because she knows what's going on. But again, it seems like obviously legally they can't say anything.
Yeah.
Which we'll probably find out later on in the season because they had to pick cameras back up when everything came out in the public and all that stuff, which I'm sure Tamara will feel vindicated, but then Jen will be like, yo, I just couldn't talk about it. So we'll see.
Yeah. But I guess
go ahead.
I guess the big thing would be Shannon's 60th.
Yeah, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, it first seemed to be celebrated at an outdoor furniture store, which I don't know if anybody else feels weirdly about furniture stores like I do. They give me anxiety. I don't like them because it is a whole mishmash of furniture styles and usually there's a lot of depressing fluorescent lighting everywhere. Yeah. And there's depressing flooring, and everything is just, nothing's cohesive. It makes me anxious. It's too much furniture too, usually for a space. I feel overwhelmed. I don't like it. And I did not realize how much outdoor furniture made me depressed too. So like that whole scene with the three of them, with Shannon, Katie and Heather, just, I was like, I can't watch this again.
I had no idea. Like, I don't put much thought into outdoor furniture, so I didn't realize stores are like that. There are stores dead. But also, when Katie says, because Katie's like, what, about 40? Shannon's turning 60 there. And she's like, I would like to help her pick some out, but there's like a 20-year age gap and our styles might be. I get that for interior. I didn't think of I didn't know there was old lady patio furniture versus like young, cool. I was like, they all look like gray benches to me. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know what Katie was really getting with that either, because it's not like Shannon has very old lady style. I'm sorry, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but if she was shopping with one of our lords and saviors, Kathy Hilton, I would get it, because Kathy Hilton has a very distinct, more matriarchal type of style.
Very
to be honest,
traditional.
Very traditional. Shannon does not have a very traditional style, as we've seen
Yeah.
in her like several homes that she's had over the years. So I
Yeah.
kind of was like, what are you talking about? It just seems that Shannon's very particular about what she likes.
Mhm.
She will say no to like 30 things before she's finally says yes to something.
Yeah.
That was more my takeaway, as opposed to actual style. It's just more like Shannon knows what she likes, and she ain't gonna pussyfoot around and say like, oh well, maybe she's just gonna be like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and the People magazine thing had just come out. It just seems like, yeah, John Janssen loves some People magazine. Apparently, that's his go-to place.
So something caught my attention with that too, because I do agree that they had to. We said it last week. They had to have given it to People magazine. They're not waiting down at the Orange County Superior Court for filings. But it was weird to me when Katie says in her confessional. You remember they asked, Jen's like, I'm not answering that, please. But Katie's like, Katie says, well, Alexis is good friends with some people at People magazine. But I'm like, what do you do at night, Katie? You have these mystery friends at TMZ. You know who Alexis knows at People. What shadow? Are you one of these burner accounts who are like is this like reality Von Tease? She's very into the paparazzi and tabloids.
But she does work in like sport. She has worked in sports journalism for a long time.
True.
So she is kind of in that, journalism. Like she knows people and golf, and I mean, look, the sports world and golfing, like, isn't that like, isn't like the most cleanest, like think of Tiger Woods and like stuff like that. Like, hello, there's people out there. So she knows people. I can see that she knows people. There are paths that cross. There are people who do that stuff. So I think between her and Matt, they know plenty of people.
I was just like, are you routing yourself out? Up until now, it's been TMZ and Heather and who she knows. And now I'm like, who knows?
Yeah, exactly. I will say, like, when they had dinner at the Korean barbecue place, I mean, if you're somebody who listens to us and you've never had Korean barbecue, oh my God, please. If there's a Korean barbecue place, please have it. And look, if you're a vegetarian, you should not go. But if you are not a vegetarian,
it's like, especially some are all you can eat. And the fun part is, like you saw them doing, you have a grill in the center of your table and you order your meats and then you get to barbecue it yourself.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It like melts in your mouth. And you also get all these little, like, also if you're a person who loves like tapas and loves like little plates of food, like you get all these little like side salads and little plates of like different stuff. And it's so good. It's so yummy. It's just such an experience. It's such a fun thing.
Yeah.
But I cried twice. But when I watched it the first time for myself, and then I watched it the second time just before we started doing this, when her son, whose name I forget, was like, asked her what her Korean name was. It was Younghwa. And he was like, Younghwa. And he was like, and then he goes, I love you, Younghwa. And like reached over and like gives her a hug. I'm going to cry now. Like that was just like the sweetest thing. Like that boy, I hope he never loses like that, like that bit of him, that like that innocence, that sweetness, that like love right there, because that was just like the sweetest thing I've ever seen in a friend. Oh my God, it was so nice.
I was trying to figure out if they're hinting at a trip to Korea on camera for later, because she says we're going to Korea. I'm going to meet my birth mother. Kind of plants the seeds. I guess we have to look at social media. Has she gone on that trip yet? Or if it's being saved as content for upcoming episodes.
Well, there's two things. Personally, I would prefer that she not do it for content on camera, at least for the first time of like going to meet her mother and stuff like that, because I think that's just, I mean, you disagree with me because everything's
I'm like, why do you want things off camera?
Right. But look, hear me out. I think though it could set up for a second visit taking all the women there. And then she's like, then it's like her exploring, Korea a little bit more. And then maybe introducing the women, if things go well with meeting her mother the first time, then being able to introduce the women to her mother, to maybe family. Do you know what I mean? And so that is a little bit cleaner.
I'm kind of hoping for like a Kenya Moore situation where she's chasing the mom down the street and the mom's like, hiding, leave me alone.
Well,
goodbye, young Wah.
It sounds like Katie's birth mother wants to meet her or is open to meeting her at least. Whereas like poor Kenya, oh my gosh.
I don't think in the real world one should take a camera crew to meet your birth mother for the first time in 40 years, but in reality world, thank you.
Oh, please do it for the content, please do it for the ratings. Alex Baskin is like, please let's do this, cameras up. Let's go to Seoul.
He's slipping the mom a lot of money to be like, reject her, and then they're like,
let's Squid Game this thing.
Yeah. This needs to be. We can't have a happy ending here. We need to get ratings up.
No, exactly. How do we keep these ratings up? Oh my gosh.
Well, I guess then that leads to, of course, the birthday tea.
Yes.
The birthday tea.
At the same place where they had Victoria's royal birthday a few years ago. It's the same place. I clocked it right away. I clocked it I clocked it from the trailer. When Shannon did her reveal, I was like, they're at that tea place where they dressed up for Shannon.
I thought it was when I saw the picture of them as the group on the steps of this place, and all I see is kind of like the white porch railing, this like kind of moss green wood siding. I was literally like, are they at Outback Steakhouse? Like,
it might have been at a time, but no, it is the tea room at Los Rios. And I love a high tea. I love that is one of the few, I would say, very girly things about me, because I tend to not like as many super girly frilly things, but I love a high tea. In fact, that is something that I've already planned and made a reservation for when I'm in London. So I'm already having high tea at Fortnum and Mason. So I'm excited about that. Yep. I'm doing it up.
When she tells them, by the way, I have to say, Gina made me feel so much better about myself, because her attempt at a British accent made my Lisa Vanderpumps.
Girl, I wrote down, I truly wrote, I mean, I have so many notes here. It's actually even on the second page. I go, oh, Shannon's British accent is as bad as yours, as Jordan's. I was like, but Gina's is worse.
Gina's was like really. Gina's was like, I did notice too, though, something she was struggling with what British or English words are. So she's just like, oh, cheerio, mate. Like just saying things that sound. Greetings, darling. She couldn't even pull that off.
She was like Harry Potter, like the over enunciation of the non-T's in Potter, like they do it. And Tamra's was not much better either. And of course she had to say spotted dick. Like I was like, of course you have to say spotted dick. She's like, I have a spotted dick. And I was like, oh God.
Oh, something I clocked in this. It's when they're getting ready to go to it. And, Jen is on the phone. She's like, my dress didn't arrive. I need to go run to the mall.
No, it didn't fit.
It didn't fit? Oh, I thought she said it didn't ship. Oh, it didn't fit.
I think she just said didn't fit.
Well, so she's like, I have to go run to the mall. Like she's going to go grab something quick. And then you see it. It's that lemon print dress.
Super cute.
Dolce & Gabbana, $2,300. I've seen it around before. I was like, I've seen that dress. I'm like, probably Sutton or Jennifer, the big Dolce housewives. But I love that this whole season is about how broke Jen is and what the hell's going on. I thought she meant like running to H&M or like anything. I need to throw something on. No, she had to go to South Coast Plaza. Yep. That dress is current and it's $2,300. So
Yeah. Like, that's
thank
the
you,
thing.
Ryan.
Going to the mall when you live in their area of Orange County, which is still not a very big county, to be honest with you. Like, it's like South Coast Plaza and Fashion Square. It's like, oh, those two, like what they have there, Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah.
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 So I did that, and no one this time called her out for it. If this had happened a few episodes ago, Emily would be screaming, "Sell that goddamn dress and get a job," you know?
Well, Emily probably doesn't know it's Dolce & Gabbana. And that's the thing, is she probably doesn't. And this is what's curious, is that Jen has definitely learned how to now actually wear real designers, but not wear the labels all over the place. Because last season she was wearing labels all over the place, but they weren't even real most of the time. You know, they were fakes. And now she's wearing real stuff. Like she, in her confessional, she was wearing her new like silver one. That's a Versace dress. I was like, just like, and that's again, it like just like Katie's pink Versace. It is very much a flashback to like the old school 90s, early aughts Versace dresses. It's like that is so. She's like upped her game.
Yeah.
I don't know who's styling her, who's like how she's got these connections. I mean, I have to think that she's borrowing them though. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if she went to South Coast and she went to one of the department stores and went to the studio collections. It was like, hey, I'm on Housewives. We got to go film something. Can I borrow something? Because that's also what happens a lot too.
Yeah, and if you are, I don't know about her, she's at that level, but if you're a really good customer and you're in a pinch, they will. Like, be like, here, take this for the day or whatever. We have to spend
and she might
so much.
Look, this besides being sponsored by Aloe this season is also, at least Heather Dubrow, in my opinion, is being sponsored by Alexander Wang. Like almost all of her confessional outfits are Alexander Wang. But you kind of have to know the Alexander Wang logo to know it. So, but I know it. Because I'm special like that. Not that I own any, I just know it. So it's just like, there we go. But yeah.
Speaking of Heather, by the way, we had like part 7 of Heather and Emily. Did I say that right?
I was hoping we just wouldn't even talk about that, to be honest with you. I was like, finally. I mean, I'm hoping that it's finally actually put to bed and done.
Yeah. I mean, my thing with it is it's not Heather's fault. Here is my thing about it. I get why Emily's feelings are hurt, but I don't think it's Heather's fault. I think it's something within Emily that she needs to work on. And she is the way they're building up Heather in this, Gina and Emily, it's the way Housewives used to look on Beverly Hills used to look at Vanderpump. Oh, she's controlling. She thinks she's better than us. She can't be bothered with us. And it's like, oh, there she is high in her mansion on the hill and we resent her. So I'm like, how many conversations do we need to have about that dress?
Look, the only thing that I think Heather is at fault for is just for not calming down herself and listening to Emily, first of all. I mean, granted, the first like 5 times, but Emily, just like last episode when Terry admonished her, was like, you have a process of basically you have to do this several times over again. Maybe Heather, it's time to start doing this once. Like just like processing it once instead of having to process it 15 times. Like maybe when somebody's finally that it doesn't why does it always have to be on your terms? Because finally, I mean, Gina and Emily kind of called her out that like, oh, now you want to talk about it now that you've had time to process it and now you know what you're going to say about it now. But I do think but I'm just glad, like, I'm glad she seemed to finally hear Emily. And I also think that Emily was better with her words being sober.
Yeah, that's another thing about Emily. Like she keeps getting I found this funny with Emily is that in other people's conflicts, she's a great presence. She's logical, she's a calming force, and she's a lawyer. So she tries to understand both sides. She's good. Except when it comes to her own issues, and she gets so emotional. And she was screaming at Heather. She'll be like, I came to you as a friend. You were like stumbling and crying. Listen to me. I mean, that wasn't.
Yep.
You called me a fat bitch. No, I mean, like, no, I mean, it was like, I get why Heather was like, we're not having this right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sure when maybe if she's rewatched the season now as it airs, she realizes. But that thing too, with what Gina said, what you were mentioning, where she says Heather can't speak in the moment, she has to walk away, think about it, and then when she has her response, we're allowed to talk again. It's like it's very, what they're implying is that Vanderpump controlling the cast behind the scenes.
Yep.
But I mean, Emily, my thing is, but not Emily in general, because I actually do think she's been a very active housewife this season. So that's a compliment. I mean, she's in the mix more. But with Heather, I get where her insecurities come from, and that Emily grew up without anything. You know, she grew up kind of like tough upbringing, not a lot of money, not a lot of nurturing. She had to build herself up to be a lawyer and all that. She struggles with her weight and stuff. And Heather does come from a pretty wealthy family. She's always been thin. She's always had that. She's had all the stuff that Emily had to fight for as a given to her. And it's kind of fun. I get where she gets frustrated too, because Emily is a lawyer, but Heather can argue circles around anybody. So it's just like with Heather, and I think it's for everybody, you'll never be good enough. Anything anything you can do, Heather can do better. And I do.
It's also funny because I think they're more alike than they both think. They're both Capricorns, which is interesting. I should do both of their charts, but definitely
to know Heather's chart.
Oh, I have Heather's chart. Dahlia and I are gonna do an episode about Heather coming up soon.
I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know the astrology of everyone who lives in the century who has a gift. I thought, I mean, I don't know a lot about astrology, but I assume Heather had some like Virgo in her, given her precision and control. I don't know all that.
Well, this is the thing. I don't want to do too much.
We should say, yeah.
Yeah, but although I will say this is that a lot of times people confuse Virgos and Capricorns. And the Virgos or Capricorns are a little bit more what you're talking about. So it's like, where's her chart? I have it. Whatever. I can't find it right now. Or maybe I didn't make it yet. But Capricorns are very like, they have a lot of precision and like things very orderly and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Virgos do too, but in a very different way.
Because I know the one person in that building whose astrology I do know a few floors above the Dubrows in the penthouse, who also has gift wrapping rooms. Candy Spelling's a double Virgo, and which explains her. And it's side note, but I get it. Like her and Heather flow together to me, the way they live, the way they act, so that's why I was like, yeah.
But Virgos are a Mercury ruled sign, so they're a little bit more in their head about stuff, and whereas like, and anyway, never mind. Well, that's for the episode. So yeah. Anyway, but let's get back to
Shannon. I mean, I guess we should get into it. Here's the highlight: Shannon invites everyone to London. Everyone. Except
everyone.
And then Alexis sends flowers in the middle of the party.
Alexis is a friend of. Why is she gonna invite a friend of? To be honest with you. Well,
I mean, what I admired about this from Alexis's side is setting the olive branch. That was a grenade. Sending those flowers into a party you're not invited to is a classic narcissistic housewife move. without even being there, all the focus is on you. Adrienne Maloof did that to Vanderpump once, sent the ugliest bouquet of flowers, but wasn't going to show up, like all that. But I mean, so on that part, from a diabolical standpoint, sending those flowers, first of all, not an olive branch. That was what I just said it was. It was a manipulative power move.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. No, but on the other hand, I mean, it really reminded me of like a boiling bunny in Fatal Attraction. It was meant to taunt her. It was meant to taunt her.
Completely. Like when Tamra said, oh, can't Alexis send flowers just to be nice? And I was like, no, she can't. No, there is a reason behind this. And the reason is to get under her skin, to get under Shannon's skin, to piss her off, to make this event that she is not invited to about her.
Right.
Like, I mean, actually, and it's also like going back to Beverly Hills, it's like Camille sending the text to Kyle that we're not going to be using your husband anymore as a realtor during Lisa Vanderpump's charity event.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm not coming, but I'm still going to be a part of this thing.
Yeah.
But I appreciated the fact that Shannon kept her cool. The way she just was like, because she was like, no, I know exactly what you're doing. Because it's almost like, it's like, you may have been a housewife before I was, but I've been a housewife longer than you have now, bitch.
Yeah.
So I know how to play this game better than you. And now she's like, okay, so I already have a text ready to tell you that you're not invited to this.
Yeah.
And when she reads it, I love all the women are like, oh, and then some of them are like, maybe you should soften it. And she's like, no. And I was like, absolutely not. She should not soften it because, and this is why, because she's 60 years old. Fuck that shit. Like, we don't need to be nice anymore. And we don't need to play nice with somebody who is suing you. Like, we don't need, who lives with the person and fucks the person that is suing you. Absolutely not. So what? She sent you a nice bouquet of flowers for your birthday. So fucking what? Again, as I keep saying, our actions are like telling on us more than our words are. And sending bouquet of flowers, whatever, what the fuck ever. But the thing is that it leaves no gray area or wiggle room for her. It says you are not invited. You are not invited. Thank you for the flowers, but I am not engaging with you. And it shuts it down. No wiggle room, nothing like maybe, She's like, no. And I'm like, absolutely. I am here for that. No is a complete sentence. And that's what she did.
Here, this is a scene, surprisingly, because it was her birthday and it was a party. I felt Shannon was clear-headed. You know, I'm always keeping an eye out for. I'm like, oh, she's had a little bit to drink. Maybe she went into that day knowing she had to be strong. I mean, she said she didn't. She even says in here, you know, there are a lot of things happening that would have triggered me and crushed me and sent me into a spiral. But I'm trying to survive and move past it and be stronger and be healthier. And here in this episode, in that moment, she was clear and sharp. And she handled it so much better than she would have in the past. Like she had said, there was no, you will all know the truth.
Well, and then to counterpoint that, when they all were going around saying like their favorite memory was Shannon, all of them were like drunk ones.
I was like the one part of the episode where I was cackling when they're going around saying to Shannon what their favorite memory of her is. I would have died. I would have paid money for this if Heather said her favorite memory was when I kicked you out of my house and said, we're done. Please leave.
That would have been amazing.
That would have been. And this is why I'm not a producer.
Look how far we've come, Shannon. Look how far we've come.
I mean, you're right though. Every memory was strong. It was like, remember that time late at night on this trip, late at night on that? But I really wish Heather, even as a joke, would have been like, okay, just kidding. But as how far we've come, we're done. But, oh my God, does Heather Dubrow do cameos?
I don't know. I don't have a cameo.
Is cameo what it's called? Yeah, you know, where the stars do little. I would kill for her to do send me a video being like, Jordan, we are done. Please leave.
All right, now I know what to get you for Hanukkah.
I would get so tingly. I would be like, oh my God. That would be amazing. Oh God. I get such a thrill from these like powerful rich women who terrify me and fascinate me. I don't know what that says about me.
Oh my God. Freud would have a heyday with you. I mean, because right now I'm just like, oh, and we wonder why you're single. No, we don't. No, we don't. I don't want to know what I mean, actually, this is the thing. I know how G-rated your search history is, but there's part of me that goes, oh, I think it's going to be, you have a separate computer and a separate phone that has all the X-rated stuff on it.
Oh God. I'm innocent. Just because I'm from the Valley doesn't mean I work in Chatsworth. But I do. I would. Yeah, that would be fun. I like a mix of fear and fascination.
Fear, fascination, and high fashion. There you go. Like, oh,
what else could have been there? Oh, the one part where it was Katie and Jen, right? Who they're telling her, don't send that text right now. Do not send that text right now. And then Katie and Jen are like, maybe we should. This is weird. So then Katie and Jen tell her, don't send the text. Let us break it to her in person. This is going to be hard.
That was confusing because it was like, but they still knew that she was sending the text. But it's almost like, okay, we'll send the text when we're going to be there. That's what it seemed to be like what happened later on.
Yeah, it was weird because I thought they were just going to go over that. We missed this. This had to be an off-camera conversation because they say we're going to go to Alexis. Let us tell her for you. And then when they get to Alexis, which I guess that was weird. We should backtrack in a second there when they arrived. But when they get there, they tell Alexis, check your phone. There's a text waiting for you from Shannon. So it was coordinated.
Yeah,
it was like
it was coordinated.
Maybe it was an excuse to trap Alexis into filming the moment, basically telling her her future is done on the show.
Yeah, I would agree. Or I mean, you say her future is done on the show, and I think that's what she felt. But also, I think it's just, it's good to see her be told,
yeah, you
may leave.
Yeah, we are done, we are done, Alexis. I'm asking you to leave.
Exactly.
So they get the creepy part. John's upstairs.
I know. That was creepy.
Even the women were creeped out. They're like, oh, he's up there. I'm like,
what?
It made me feel like he watches her. That kind of controlling.
Well, and that's the thing is that there was like, I think a lot of us, because I mean, I do it too. I've got the memory of a goldfish at times when it comes to this show and any of the Housewives shows. I only remember what's happening during the season or what just happened like the last season. But like he would be around Shannon's home when they were filming in previous seasons. Like he would be in episodes just hanging out at her house. Like there was plenty of John Janssen on the show at her home, like filming around the place. So he's one to like hang out at his girlfriend's homes. So him being there is one thing, but to be there at a filming where he doesn't come downstairs at all, and then she's going to acknowledge that he's there was weird.
And this was at her house, not his. So he's like hiding upstairs. Yeah. Even the women didn't know he was up there. It was like she's like, I better go tell John. And she runs up and they're like, what? Why
making sure that Alexis says what he wants her to say and stuff like that. And I know that they're saying that is not the case, but it just feels like it's the case because there are times when like when he would film with Shannon that it seemed like he wanted Shannon to say certain things or like not say certain things. Like you could see like he would like get upset and it's like Shannon's a person. Like, I'm doing Shannon soon. We're doing Shannon on astrology. Like you can't shut Shannon up. Like, let's be clear. If we have not learned this over the past 10 years, like, come on. Like, let's get real here.
Yeah, that's something with this scene that really like hit me about this whole John thing and how weird it is and how devastated she is. And it's that at this point they'd only been dating what, a few months?
Mm-hmm.
And
Like
in
6 months.
6 months, and her entire relationship has been consumed with pursuing his ex. This is like, does she not see the red flag here? It's weird. Her entire relationship from day one has been all about Shannon Beador.
Right.
And like she doesn't, she keeps denying it. No, John doesn't coach me. No, this isn't his battle. I want to be her friend, but I also need to punish her for him. It's creepy. Like she doesn't see that she's in like some weird toxic. She thinks they're like Bonnie and Clyde. She barely knows him, and they have their common bond is Shannon Beador. They don't really have a private relationship.
I mean, I keep saying this, and it's not really to you, but it's almost just to like, maybe that I think that I hope that she will hear this at some point, but like, girl, you went through a really hellish year earlier in 2023. Like your mother died, you broke up with your fiance of several years, and then in swoops this man who you think is Prince Charming, but look at all the drama that he's created in your life. Like this man came in at a very vulnerable time of your life. He did the same thing to Shannon. Like he comes in and he grabs women at these like vulnerable times, and then he like uses them for like fame and like any of their energy. And so I just think he's just using her for like, you know, for different reasons, but some of it is fame, but also like, because he keeps saying that like in the confessional that he did with Alexis, like sitting there, I was like, are you fucking joking? Oh, Mr. I don't want to be on camera and I don't want to be a star, doing one that he is like, he has to do this because the statutes of limitation were running out on, okay, all right. But that she's been besmirching his name because like you said earlier, like he's saying that it made him look like he hadn't been working this entire time and that Shannon had been paying for everything. I don't know about you. That wasn't the impression that I got during the seasons that he was on with Shannon. I thought that he was either retired or a professional. Do you know what I mean? I never got the feeling that like she was paying for everything. That was something that I think was happening off camera. And those were conversations that were happening off camera and maybe in the community. But now he has brought them on camera. And he has brought them into the popular ground, and he has done this. So he can blame Shannon all he wants to. But the thing is that it's the Barbra Streisand effect. It is the Barbra Streisand effect right there of like, don't all of a sudden like get mad about somebody taking pictures of your Malibu house if you don't want to be showing off what's happening in Malibu at your house. Yeah. And that's what he did.
Yeah, like I was thinking, like with what you said back then, I mean, when they were together, she portrayed him as like a successful man of leisure. She would have the women over for dinner on his boat because he lived on the water and had a boat. I never had I always thought he was like a comfortable, maybe semi-retired, retired, or a trust fund guy. There was never any discussion of money. Like you said, it may have been off camera. Because on the show, she never implied that she was taking care of him. And I did dig up their court documents because I wanted to give you a little update on the trial, where it's at. So something what you said in his filing, he says she paints him as like struggling when he's a successful businessman and that she had to support him. But the audience never saw that. But he refers to the show in it. He says that their relationship plays out on the popular TV series Real Housewives of Real Housewives of Orange County. And so I don't know how he built that up in his head, but I can tell you where the trial's at. So you guys are the case. It's still going through the courts. They are about to go to trial. Okay. So last month, literally a month ago, September 4th was the last hearing or the last motion in court, where it's where each side, Shannon and John, had to file what are called, I'm not a lawyer, I just play one on Twitter. Each one filed a motion called a proposed stipulation and order. And that's where each side outlines their case and what they want from it. She gives her side, he gives his. She says, I want this case dismissed. He says, I want $75,000 plus whatever. And so these are the final, they're basically giving the judge, here's what we're going to be saying in court when we go to court. But there is something, Shannon made a move to make him pay her legal fees, and he struck back for a motion to deny. So that's where we're at. It hasn't gone to trial, and I don't know when it will. It's not on the schedule yet. Usually it will tell you the next hearing, but as of literally a month ago, they filed their pretrial papers. So
it's just a mess. I mean, I hope he loses just for being a schmuck. Like, I hope he loses, and I hope he has to pay her court fees just for being a schmuck. Just because I think, I mean, to go back to the Jen and Katie being at Alexis's home when she finds out that she's not going to London. It's so funny, the teenage temper tantrum that she throws. And she says, I quote, I've tried it all. And I was like, oh, you've tried what? You've tried yelling at her in public. You've tried turning her friends against her. You've tried blackmailing her, extorting her. I was like, what have you tried? What have you tried so hard, Alexis, to like make? You didn't say, oh, I'll give up my boyfriend for you. Like, you haven't tried anything. You sent her some flowers and you said a couple of platitudes, but your actions do not say somebody who's like trying to make things work with somebody. Like, absolutely not.
No, she can't. It works with John and her because she can't be the bad guy either. She is torturing Shannon, but she keeps saying, but I'm trying to be her friend. She's age shamed her. She said, you're old enough to be my mother. I have your ex. All this stuff. She's trying to steal her friends and blackmail, extort her. The tapes are going to come out. And then she sends some flowers and it's like, why don't you like me? It's because she can't stand being seen for what she is. She's diabolical.
Well, because she's supposed to be like the good Christian girl, and she doesn't like being seen as anything else but that. But honey, you're with a monster, and he's dragging you down with him.
What's that movie? I think it's called Saved. Is it Saved?
With Mandy Moore?
She reminds me of that evil cheerleader and the nice Christian cheerleader who's
the Mandy Moore character.
Yeah.
The Mandy Moore character who is a monster who like does who's like horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing though. I've said this all season. I don't hate Alexis. I don't think she's a bad person. I think she's like super misguided. I think she's with a terrible man right now. I think she also went, like I said earlier, she's gone through a horrible, horrible year. And I don't think that she should be filming, to be honest with you. Don't think that she should be filming. And so now she's taken up all that emotion and grief that she's had towards the loss of her mother and the loss of her previous engagement. She has now funneled that into John Janssen and funneled that into John Janssen's rage against his ex. And that's where this is all going, where she really needs to like, you don't heal the hole inside of you by filling it with another dick. Like you gotta heal the hole inside of you by healing yourself inside. And it doesn't come from outside of you. It comes from like time spent healing yourself. And she just keeps trying to heal herself with like other people or other things. And it's not happening. And that's what Shannon used to do too. And I think if we're lucky, if Shannon really is on this path to enlightenment and healing herself, Shannon is slowly learning that lesson, that I cannot heal myself with other dicks, with alcohol, with buying stuff. Like I have to heal myself inside. Does that make sense?
It's kind of Alexis is trying to fix everyone around her to feel like she's fixed herself. She's doing it's like when
it's very
it's
codependent.
It's like someone the same who gets very stress shops or stress bakes or something. She's trying to fix John and Shannon and all this around her to distract her from fixing herself because like her mother died and her child, so she's channeling all that in.
I mean, I also felt that it looked like she was just throwing a tantrum because she didn't get her way, because she isn't seen as the good girl. And like, this is not going the way I and John planned it.
I feel like in this moment, and we'll have to see what the next episodes, how much she's in the next episodes, but I felt her tantrum was her realizing, like a game of chess, Shannon cutting her as a friend of from the big international cast trip essentially kills her shot at being a housewife next season. And so when she's like, I'm done, I won't be around with it. I won't be around this group. I'm done. I won't be around anymore. And then she leaves and they're filming the women outside her home. I felt in that moment, she was like, Shannon just killed my shot back at the show. And that's how I was taking it.
Oh, I think she felt that way. I mean,
like she realized,
I mean, whether or not that happens, I mean, I would like for Alexis to like not get an orange, but I'll be honest with you. There is a part of me that enjoys this drama between Alexis and Shannon. Now, that doesn't mean that I enjoy the drama that John is bringing, if this makes sense. I don't enjoy what John is doing to Shannon, but I kind of enjoy this Alexis just fumbling, like thinking, like climbing up 2 steps and then falling down 3, and climbing up 2 steps and falling down 3. Like, kind of enjoy that. And I kind of enjoy Shannon that her foil is not Tamra or Vicky. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
That it's somebody else, and it's somebody else who, that is just Alexis.
It's a good point. It's good to have Shannon, who at this point is more towards the OG tier, even though she's not an original. Think like on New York, Dorinda or Sonia, not a true OG, but she's graduated into that veteran class. And we would get tired of Ramona versus the same people. This is shaking it up, having Shannon who's established. Even though Alexis was a housewife before for years, it was a different era. And I do think housewives from the OG eras, when we started Housewives, there was barely Twitter. Twitter didn't start till like season 3, season 4 of OC. So it's a different world than she stepped into. It's an industry. And so even though she is experienced, it was Vicky's Housewives.
It was
Vicky, Gretchen, Gina Keogh Housewives.
So. I mean, you just made me think, because it's almost like not exactly the same, but how when Bethany returned to New York, and then she had to deal with like Dorinda, and she never dealt with Dorinda in that way. And Dorinda sparred in ways that like people didn't necessarily expect, and was like, wait a minute, what? And I don't think that Bethany expected that either, that she would finally have somebody who would stand up to her in that way. And who also allowed like people like Luann and even Sonia to stand up to Bethany in those ways, because Bethany had never really had that before. And because Bethany, either it was dealing with Jill, or she could just walk over anybody. So I think I kind of like the sparring a little bit, because I also like the difference in like attitude. It sucks because Alexis and I are the same age, but I feel like Alexis is acting like a toddler, like a lot of the time, and just acting so immature at times. And so, but anyway, Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens on this London trip, because it also seems that like Tamra's going to be trying to push Shannon's buttons to be the pot
Yeah.
stirrer since Alexis won't be there.
Yeah. I mean, I really, when Tamra was like, why can't Alexis just send flowers to be friendly? Tamra, who just an episode or two ago admitted, yes, she would sit there and think about how to single out and fat shame a castmate. Oh, she's really so pure. She can't see where these flowers are coming from.
Yeah. Yeah. Little Miss, like, I don't know anything about social media yet, isn't every like Bravo content creators like comments like, hello, excuse
including
me.
ours.
Yep. And that's not a crown that we're necessarily like, oh, like that does not make us special.
Yeah. No. She searches her hashtag. She searches the show. And she's one of those who definitely plays to the social media audience. So
she lives in the comments. Like she does. She lives in the comments. But the thing is that she just, I mean, it really is like in a lot of ways sad, because a lot of the comments, especially on our last promo, especially on TikTok, dude, people are just hate Tamra this season. They just do. She's just like really turned people off so much.
I've said this before. I respect her as a housewife because she earns her check and she invented the game. She made Housewives into a game of villains. But this season, it's not the same execution. She's not as sharp. It's Rinna-ish. We said that last season. It's Rinna's last season where it became like, it's just over. Like you're basically winking at the camera as you call someone out. It's like, it's not organic. You can see her. Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, I just really think like since she came back, it's not been the same. Like, I mean, when she left, I was ready for her to leave because it was getting old and tired. And then there was a few bad seasons there, and it just was, and granted, there was the pandemic too. So that made every Housewives season was like tough during the pandemic. But then it was like, oh, we're bringing her back. And I was like, okay, good. This will be good. Like, I'm actually ready for Tamra to come back. I'm okay. And I want to see if she's grown. But she hasn't grown and she hasn't changed. And now everything is about everybody else. And I'm just like,
yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you can leave again. We're done here. You may leave. Like
one housewife who I guess one last thing, one housewife who I'm seeing in social media from the past begging now to get on again is Gretchen. And it's not going to happen. My thing is why I think she's upset. Because basically when you look back at that era, who could they bring back? It would have been Alexis or Gretchen. And if Alexis did well, it could open the door to Gretchen because they obviously chose one or the other. Gretchen's always put it out there that she wants back on. She needs the money too. The way Alexis went, I think they will be closing the door on bringing back Housewives from a decade ago.
I hope so.
I don't think, I mean, they tried it with Alexis, and Alexis had somewhat of an organic tie-in. She's dating current Shannon's ex-boyfriend. Now plopping Gretchen in. It's just, I think that door closed.
Yeah.
It would be like bringing Carlton Gebbia back on Beverly Hills. It's just a different
and she's
era.
dating Mauricio.
Yeah.
I would watch that.
Yeah, I think that time.
You know what, though? I will say this, because I was like, how could it be interesting to bring Gretchen back? And I was like, I don't know. And I didn't hate Gretchen. But the only way it could be good is if they did keep Tamra on, they brought Gretchen back, and she was able to go like Katniss Everdeen on Tamra. Like if she was able, because Tamra was such a see you next Tuesday to Gretchen throughout Gretchen's entire time there. Gretchen was, to me, a cringe housewife. I don't think she was a bad housewife. There were just so many things that she did for the plot. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just like, Gretchen, please stop trying. Just like you can be an interesting person without trying.
Yeah.
You know, I think she got like
she wore costumes and staged Did she propose
Yeah,
to
she
yeah,
proposed to
that's what I was
Slade.
saying.
Yeah. And look, her and Slade are still together, so I go, okay, that was not just for the TV, I
Mhm.
guess, so okay, that works. But if she came back and she just destroyed Tamra, then I would be cool with that.
Yeah.
But otherwise I don't necessarily need Gretchen back.
Yeah, I don't I think this wasn't I think this was a experiment
Mhm.
and it didn't go well.
Mhm.
Just like you're not gonna see Brandy back on Beverly Hills again. You know what
Well,
I mean? It's just
there's
things
a
it
lot
won't.
of reasons for that.
Yeah, but you get what I mean. From that generation of housewives, I think
Yeah.
Alexis shows that it's not gonna be a thing. They need to move forward with new people.
Mm. I think personally, I just don't think that they should change the cast for next season. I think if
I
they
think
can
it's
keep
solid.
everybody, I think it's a solid cast. I think let's watch Katie grow. Let's see what happens with Jen and Ryan. I think we just see, more of this. I would be fine with keeping Alexis as a friend of to see what happens, how the John Janssen Shannon
Mhm.
lawsuit plays out and with Alexis around there. But not giving her just to torture her, not give her full housewife status.
Yeah.
But I don't think she would accept that.
Yeah, she thinks she's a full-time housewife.
Mhm.
Vicky
Yeah.
syndrome.
Yep.
Vicky's
Yeah.
one, I mean, I guess we're going on, but Vicky's one, I think, friend of as she is all you need of her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. That will shift the dynamic backwards again. It
Mhm.
would be
We
like
don't need
bringing Ramon. There are certain housewives who will never change, and they suck the life out of a show. Vicky
Mhm.
is one of
Yeah.
them.
Vicky is fine as like a little like light like cinnamon sprinkle on top of
Mhm.
like your cappuccino or something like that. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
But we don't need Vicky all the time. So no.
yeah.
But yeah. All right.
Well, on that note, boy, since I don't know if you guys know, but Vicky doesn't actually pay me alimony. If you follow me from Twitter, but a way that you could help us support ourselves and buy little family vans and the river house,
Little
get a
family
life
vans.
insurance policy. It doesn't take anything but a click from you guys. It doesn't cost anything.
Just a couple
Rate
of clicks.
Yeah, all you have to do is subscribe. It would help us out a lot to keep making these episodes.
Mhm.
You just subscribe, and then the episodes will pop right in when you're ready
Mhm.
for them, when we drop them. So rate, review, subscribe, and follow us as well. Share with your friends and frenemies. Instagram and TikTok at Pretty Corrupt Podcast. Twitter at Pretty Corrupt One, and also YouTube.
Mhm. We are only 50 subscribers away from that 500 that I so badly want. That
Yeah.
not only we all want it. All three of us want it by Halloween. So please go ahead and subscribe, and then you get to see us. You get to see everything. You get to see Jordan's face turn red when I talk about his dominatrix housewives fantasies.
We are done, Jordan. I'm asking you to leave.
Oh my gosh.
Heather
Oh,
did just come out with a leather line. I just want to just put
I was
that.
thinking she could wear it all in leather and do that for you for your Hanukkah present. You guys have to go onto the YouTube and see how red his face is and him hiding his face in his hands. Oh my god, he's so excited by this. Oh, if Candy Spelling could be in the background when she does that, oh, you might never come back off that cloud 9 that you get on when you do that.
On that note, adios.